Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
I just realized you didn't even hear my intro because I was muted. I will say it again. Hey, Lashy Kids and Driving Mutants. Welcome to another Friday Chill stream. And I'm here with a special guest, Mr. Tamon Kane. Am I saying it right? Is it Tamon or Tamon? Tamon. Thank you. Yeah. He is a notable author and also has a publishing company, and he's 1/4 of the Scream Kingz podcast that's here on YouTube. Yeah. I'm gonna go to the chat. I usually sorry, my computer's slow today. I don't know what's.
It's Friday. It's taking a little while.
Yeah. Okay, Tony Man again. He's gonna make me say this whole thing. Back in the day, there's this girl round the way. She liked a home piece in MCA. He said he would not give her play. I asked him, please. He said, you may. Her pants were tight, and that's okay. Another one. If she would dance, I would DJ. We took a walk down to the bay. I hope she'll say, hey, me and you should hit the hay. I asked her out. She said, no way. So I broke north with no delay. He keeps making me want to do these old school raps, knowing that I'm not good at it. I think he gets a kick out of me not being able to deliver this properly. I heard she moved real far away. That was 2 years ago this May. I seen her just the other day, Jack and Mike D to my dismay. Shout out to the real OGs of gangster rap, Beastie Boys. Yeah, we were talking about that the other day about how the Beastie Boys technically wrote the first gangster rap because Paul Revere was like the first violent rap I ever heard. Even though they weren't serious with it, it was the first mention of a gun in a rap song that I ever heard. Tyrone is here. He says, "Hey, folks."
Hey.
Mr. Dan and Horror is here. I hope he's doing all right. He just recently, you know what? Before I move on from Tyrone, you guys have to make sure that you subscribe to the Evil Tyrone because we're doing, if you haven't noticed this year, I haven't been covering From on my channel because I've been over on Tyrone's channel now and again talking about From over there. So if you want to see a good conversation about From episode by episode, follow the Evil Tyrone. Mr. Dan and Horror just recently did a father and son review for Father's Day. I'm interested in watching that because I like to hear the differences between, you know, someone that's older to someone that's, you know, 18, 19 viewing the same content. That's usually pretty interesting. Ultimate Sunrise is here. They say, "Hey, fam."
Hey.
And they asked if they're early. No, I'm just always late. I know. Welcome to my channel because I know you're new here if you thought I was going to be on time. Yeah, and see, Tony Man says, "No, you're right on time." Yeah. Tony Man said, "Well, that was mic check. That was when I was trying to do my intro and I didn't have I had myself muted. I know." Hey, Fro Thizzle is here. He says, "What's up, y'all? Peace, fam." Fro has been performing recently. He's got, I believe it's a new. Correct me if I'm wrong, Fro. I think you got a new some new music out, and you've been traveling and performing that. And he also has a good YouTube channel where he also reviews mostly horror movies, but he has reviewed some non-horror movies as well. And Tony says, yes, she read the whole verse. Terribly, but I did, because I'm not super familiar with that Beastie Boys song. I just know Paul Revere. I know No Stop Till Brooklyn and Fight for Your Right to Party. I feel like there's another one I know, but I'm not sure. Evil says Slasher Time. So to start with, I want to talk about, did you get to see The Blackening?
I did.
Oh, okay. So we can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed with some, like, I really enjoyed the comedy in it. Like the audience, it was audience participation. I don't know if your audience responded to the O'Reillys. Like my whole audience, yeah, said the auto parts part. That was pretty cool. The one thing that I do wish they leaned into was the horror. Because it really had that feel like Scream when it comes to like being self-referential horror parody. I really like that about that, and I like the inclusion of, like I said this to you before, that I like the inclusion of the black person from New England, because a lot of times people forget we exist. We're up there. We're not always on Martha's Vineyard. Like sometimes we spend a lot of time on Martha's Vineyard, but not always. But I did. Go ahead.
I totally enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It was fresh. I love to see all my faves. And it was like a big family reunion in the movie theater. Even walking outside, people were still joking and laughing that never met each other. So it was great. Yes.
It was like a real crowd pleaser. And I like that. Because I posted when I went, the particular day I went, it was a screening. And it was at this mall in Orlando that was completely dead. Like I had never seen a mall that dead before. But when I got upstairs, the theater was filled. There's a line around the corner with everybody going to see The Blackening. So that was good to see.
Yeah.
I hope it makes enough money to warrant a sequel. So.
I do too. Hopefully it'll do better than The Flash. So maybe we will get.
I purposely bootlegged that. Allegedly.
But I agree with you, the horror could have been like, I wanted more.
Yeah. And that seems to be. Oh, repeat that. Let me turn this off.
It had the potential also to have some cool horror aspects.
That seems to be like a thing with some black slasher movies, because they did that with Holla and Holla 2 and Somebody Help Me. They really leave out the gore. They also leave out the sex. Like none of them. It's like no. It's very. I don't know why with us we sanitize stuff so much in film, but we don't in music. Like in music, we say everything, but in film we really sanitize stuff.
Yeah, we didn't get any gore really. Well, yeah, we didn't get any gore at all.
Fro Thistle says new music and more in the works. Thanks a bunch. Tyrone says The Blackening.
Mm-hmm.
And Fro says, I'm watching The Blackening today for the first time. Let us know. Well, I look forward to your review. The Horror Green Book. Welcome to the channel. Says, hey there, y'all. Can't wait to check out The Blackening tomorrow. Nice.
Yeah, welcome.
Ultimate Sunrise says, very bad weekend for box office.
Yikes.
Spoiler alert, some of us haven't seen The Blackening. I did not spoil it. All I said was that the comedy was better than the horror. I did not spoil it. The one thing I did have to get used to was one dude's accent. Like the white accent was a little bit. It took a while for me to get used to it because I was like, he's putting 20 on 10. It's not quite that bad. And
He
I know
was funny.
Yeah, I know from experience because just last week I was in the waiting room and there was a person next to me who was visually impaired. And they thought they were talking to a white woman until I told them otherwise. And I was still shocked because I was like, this is still happening in 2023?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on here?
Mm-hmm. Ultimate Sunrise says, voted for Trump twice. That person exists. I have a cousin that was, he's still into Trump. I'm not going to try to justify it.
The holding the gun sideways and he corrected it was hilarious.
Yes.
That was in the trailers.
Yes, it was in the trailers. And it's so true because usually when you fire a handgun, there's a kickback. So if you fire sideways, your hand, I'm doing it in front of the camera. If you fire sideways, when it kicks back, your hand's going to go like this and you're not going to hit your target, which is probably why so many people catch strays. But the reason why you hold it this way and you brace is so that you absorb some of that kickback and you can hit your target.
Mm-hmm.
This is for entertainment purposes only, not for educational purposes. Don't try this at home, children. You got to do the legal because somebody might like say, I learned how to shoot from Lady Shut. No, you did not. You did not learn how to shoot from me. Mm-hmm. The View with Drew says, hey, everyone, what's up?
Greetings.
Tony says, I saw a great Tubi movie with a dude punching people to death. I cannot remember that. I know what movie you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it. It had Michael Jai White in it. And the opening was very much like Scream. But the killer just kept punching people instead of stabbing them. And I'm like, if y'all gonna do horror, commit to it. Drew, the View with Drew says, good news, just shared this stream on my channel. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna see if I can find out what movie that was. But chat, is there any other movies that you recently saw, especially on Tubi? Because I've been seeing Tubi is cranking out the originals. Here we go. The View with Drew says, who's your favorite action movie character? Mine is the Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It's the best action movie ever made.
Oh, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that came to my mind, and I don't think it's my favorite, but it's the first one, was Red Sonja.
Oh, I love that. That's nice.
That movie growing up, so that's the first thing that came to my mind. But I'm sure there's other action stars like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible is great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess Bad Boys is a good example of action comedy. So that's my favorites. The first one.
I think for me, it's a tie between Sylvester Stallone and First Blood because he was so badass in First Blood, and the whole crew of people that were in Predator. Like this, that movie is infinitely rewatchable for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jean-Claude Van Damme. I think it's called Time. I used to love anything he was in. Him and
oh yeah, especially if he is in his underwears doing a split for no reason. I like that kind of fan service.
What was the one? I can't remember his name. White guy, not long, but black hair in a ponytail, like Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah, Steven Seagal. Yeah.
The one I like is Marked for Death when he was fighting those fake Jamaicans. Oh, we got more going on in the chat. Let me catch up. Tony Man says, was it I Know You're Alone? That could have been the name of it, I Know You're Alone, with the killer that was punching people. And Michael Jai White was on a... The thing was, It started off like Scream, and it's got like this teenage girl. She's home alone in the house, and Michael Jai White's her father, but he's traveling on business. So through the whole duration of the movie, he's just trapped on a plane talking to her on the phone.
Mhm.
But the rest of it, yeah. So I feel like maybe they didn't have enough money to have Michael Jai White on set for more than a day. So that's what they
Yeah.
did.
You know,
But
they talk about that in the blackening.
Mr. Dan Harr says, got to take my son to work. Take care. Well, travel safe. Tony Man says his favorite for action is I think you meant to say Eco Oasis from the Raid Redemption. I was surprised you didn't say Tony Jaa. If you haven't seen the Raid or the Raid Redemption, you would love it. I mean,
I don't think I've
you
seen
want
the
to say
Raid Redemption.
action packed. It's a Thai movie. I think they have both a dubbed version and a subtitle version, but
Okay.
it's they actually, I think they hired some of the people from the Raid to work on the John Wick movies.
Oh, that's a great action movie too.
Yes. Ultimate Sunrise says Rambo 4 was badass, and also John Wick for me.
Yeah.
Horror Green Book says I can rewatch Bloodsport 1,000,000 times. Bloodsport's the one where he had the glass on his hands. Like they did like a wrap on their hands and they put it in glue and then they put the glass on it.
I remember that.
I think that was Bloodsport.
I remember that scene. I don't know if that was the name of the movie, but I definitely remember that scene.
And I think wasn't that one when Van Damme was dancing with them girls? Mark for Death is such a guilty pleasure. Yes. Tony says, don't forget Erica Mena acting. Are you familiar with Erica Mena?
Mm-mm.
She's from Love and Hip Hop. I think she was originally on the New York one. I think she might have done Atlanta a couple seasons, but she's mostly on Love and Hip Hop New York. She married Safari, that used to be with Nicki Minaj. She is in a series of movies on Tubi that are a remake of The Stepfather called The Stepmother. So she plays the stepmother now.
So how great is it?
You got to check it out. She's good at being evil.
Oh, okay.
There's not a lot of acting for her.
Are you talking about like Monique in the
I know what you're talking about. What was it? When she was in the house and the kids kids came to try to do ghost hunting.
No, not the reading.
I don't know why I can't remember the name of that movie, but that movie was hilarious.
It was hilarious. It's not even supposed to be funny.
No.
The reading, right?
Yeah. I think that sounds right.
Yeah, that is. I just found it. It's the reading. Yeah, that was a comedy.
Mr. Dan says, never mind, I'm still here. Scott Adkins is great too. Yeah, I didn't know. I want to say it was Scott Adkins was also in John Wick 4. He was wearing a fat suit. I think that was him in the fat suit. That was that boss man that was doing the jump kicks. Evil says, I own the Raid 1 and 2, love them with a passion. Yes. And that's what took me out of, there was a Fast and Furious movie where they wanted us to believe that, I want to say it was Tony Jaa, that Paul Walker was fighting. And they wanted us to believe that Paul Walker could beat Tony Jaa in a fight. And I'm like, no, you're not beating any of these Asian dudes in a fight that are martial artists. And you're not a martial artist. No.
Not at all.
Dan says, great non-action Michael Jai White movie is Thick as Thieves. I haven't seen that one, but I've seen Bone. I watched Bone a couple times because, well, I think I might have the DVD of Bone, actually. Tony says, the best Jean-Claude Van Damme movie is Sudden Death. If you haven't seen it, watch it. A dude dies with a skate. I was going to ask if that was the hockey movie. I do remember him making an action movie that had something to do with hockey.
I thought the best Jean-Claude Van Damme movie was Street Fighter.
Was he? Yeah, he was in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I don't remember that movie. Like, I remember seeing it when it first came out, but it was so long ago. I've never rewatched that one. I haven't rewatched Mortal Kombat either. I should do that just to see how, I mean, Mortal Kombat wasn't great when it first came out, but it might be, so bad it's good now.
It's definitely that. It's better than the new one that came
out. Tyrone says, Michael Jai White's abilities were wasted in The Dark Knight. Yeah, I was like, why was he here if you're not going to have him do like a full fight scene?
Who was he in the Dark Knight?
I don't remember his character's name, but there was a scene where he's like, I think he's like meant to be a crime boss of some sort, but I don't know the character's name. I do know that Michael Jai White is building his own film studio in New Haven, Connecticut. So that's what he's been up to.
Well,
Oh.
Gamble. That was his name, Gamble. Best villains?
Let me think. Do you mean for horror, non-horror, just in general?
Yeah.
Let me think. I'm going to come back to that. Tyrone says he was crime boss number 5.
He had a name.
Mm-hmm. Best villains. Let me think.
Jafar and Ursula.
Hmm.
I love those two. If we're talking about just villains straight out.
For some reason, the first thing that pops into my head is there was this movie. It had Tom Selleck. It was called Runaway. And Gene Simmons, who's the lead singer from Kiss, was the villain in that movie. I thought he did a great job. Anything that Rutger Hauer stars in, because that's all he plays is villains. And whoever that actor was from Die Hard.
Which one?
The first one. The first one. Yeah. Everyone Sleeps on Black Dynamite. Yes. Yeah, that's another great. That's a great Michael Jai White movie. Have you seen Black Dynamite?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you have to check it out. It's done in the style of like a 1970s blaxploitation movie.
Uh-huh.
But it's got really, really fun lines. Like at one point, Black Dynamite comes in as played by Michael Jai White, and he's like, "I'm gonna kick anybody's ass who's selling drugs to the community." And this guy is like, "But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community." It's got lines like that. You have to check it out. You will laugh your ass. But it also has some great fun fight scenes in it too. And I think Michael Jai White produced it himself.
You know, he's in those Mortal Kombat HBO TV show. He plays Jax.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it's called Mortal Kombat Legacy. And it's on HBO Max. It's a whole TV show, like 20-minute episodes. I think roughly like 4 seasons. He's pretty good.
Oh wow,
as Jax.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Action, and he says Castor Troy. Yes, Castor Troy from Face Off. That was he was a good villain.
The Face Off Machine.
Alan Rickman. Is that who played? I think that's the person who played the villain in Die Hard. I should tell you guys, I forgot to announce why we're here talking. We're meant to be talking about slasher movies, but I got sidetracked as always because I'm doing Summer of Slashers. I'm gonna ask Tamon a question, and I want you guys to also answer in the chat. What is your favorite slasher movie or favorite slasher movies that you like?
My number one favorite is Scream 2. I'm a huge Scream franchise fanatic, so I'm one of those that's in the Reddits and what they talk about in the movies. But Scream is my favorite franchise. But I do have a really I love I Know What You Did Last Summer. I love The Strangers, which is one of my favorite slashers too. Urban Legends, Sleepaway Camp, Sorority Row, Black Christmas, the original, and 2009 maybe.
Yeah, it was around there, like 2006, 2009-ish.
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah.
So that one. Of course, the Halloweens, but if I had to narrow down to like my top 3, it would be Scream, The Strangers, and I'll go with Halloween H2O.
I worked at the movie theater when it came out. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of Scream, my mother just said today, she said, I tried to watch that Scream movie. I had to turn it off. The lady was talking to a man in a bar, and then he killed her in the alley, and then he went home, and then he got killed by another man with the same mask. And I had to tell her, no, that's the 6th movie. That's not the first one. I said, you are the 6th Scream.
That's how it begins.
I think mine would probably be top number one is Nightmare on Elm Street. I loved that movie so much, and I like Pieces a lot. Uh, what
Ooh.
I don't know if you've seen Pieces. It's I think it's an Italian film, but it's meant to look like it's in the United States at a university in New England, but you could clearly tell that it's overdubbed and they're Italian actors. Really, really great effects in it. Um, what else do I like a lot? I would say actually the first three Nightmare on Elm Streets, because they are amazing to me. And I always say, Jesse from part two, he should have been in part three. He should have been one of the kids in the hospital. I don't know why that didn't I'm like, where's just he should be one of the kids there.
Yeah, in my requel, if
Mhm.
anyone hears this, he's one of the patients because I would start with Dream Warriors. And
Yes.
it makes sense that he will become one of the patients
Mhm.
At that same place where Kristen and all those, and really he could have still been the lead,
Yes.
but they were not feeling him back then.
Yeah, I know. I've watched a documentary called Scream King on Shudder, and it was about how they kind of inadvertently outed him before he really wanted to be outed. And the screenwriter tried to say, "Oh, I didn't write the character gay. The actor's just too gay to play it straight." And then after like 15 years, he comes back and says, "Yeah, I did write all that stuff to be gay." I'm like,
Yeah.
really? You made this man go through all this BS, and you knew from day one you were writing in, queer subtext, and some of it was left out because the bar wasn't originally a leather bar. It was originally supposed to be a drag queen leather bar, but then they pulled it back and just made it a gay leather bar. And then you could still see, if you look close, you could still see a couple drag queens in the background, but it was supposed to be like more flamboyant and everything.
He
But
should sue them for the trauma behind that.
yeah, because
I
they
don't
put
think
him
he's
through hell.
Yeah.
Because the time period that he was acting in the 80s, it wasn't really safe for him to be out. So
No.
by them doing that, that was just real dirty. And the person what makes it worse is the screenwriter themselves is also gay. So you're doing this to another gay person and you knew what you was doing. That was dirty.
Yeah. But that art transformed a generation.
Yes.
And it was a coming out story for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And even for Freddie, because he literally came out of Jesse. So
yes, literally.
like that was the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street is one of those franchises that is amazing, and all the installments are not like my favorite, right? But the first 3.5, I love those.
Yes.
Dream Warrior is my favorite. Oh, and New Nightmare.
Yeah, New Nightmare is really good. The only thing I don't like about New Nightmare is the redesign of the glove. Like Wes Craven said, he always wanted it to be a bone glove, but I don't think it was the concept that was bad. I think the way they made it look. I think they should have maybe refined how it looked.
More organic versus something that was constructed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the coat. I love the hat. I loved all of that.
The leather pants. Freddie had them leather pants.
Freddie was ready. You hear me? Freddie was ready. I think that's probably in my opinion, his second or third scariest performance of Freddie.
Oh yeah, that one was very, very scary. I think Freddie is the only horror like slasher that has 2 rap songs. He has one from one official and one unofficial, because the Fat Boys did, I think, Are You Ready for Freddy? And then there's an unofficial one that not Will Smith. What was his name? Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff also did A Nightmare on My Street. But they had yeah, there's a video.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Okay, yeah.
They had nothing to do with Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, they had no permission or anything. So when they did it, they went through a lot of legal issues because they just made the song just because they wanted to make it. And that's why when you watch the music video, the Freddy in it doesn't look like Freddy Krueger, because they would have got sued even more if they actually had a Freddy Krueger in their video. But the music is pretty good.
I think not Stab, but Scary Movie had one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only one else, but I don't know if that's really horror. But
no, Scary Movie, so it's a horror comedy.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I consider it horror, and Scary Movie too. with that. What's his name? With his my little hand when he was stirring the mashed potatoes.
With my strong hand.
Yes.
He was
What
hilarious.
happened to that guy? He was so funny.
He's on Schitt's Creek.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. He
That's
is.
the
I
mayor,
forgot
yeah.
that was him. Okay, I'm gonna go
He
to the
was funny.
comments, and then I'm gonna take. Know what? This will do. I'll do the ad break first, and then I'll come back and go to the comments. The ad break
Okay.
will probably be less than 30 seconds. Oh.
Be right back.
Mm-hmm. There you go. I'm just playing that a second time so you guys can see that we're still accepting submissions for the Camden Woods Film Festival, but the deadline is June 30th. There are some discount codes. If you want to see this, a static image of this, follow Cabin Woods Film Festival on Instagram, or you could also visit my Instagram page and you'll see the static image of this with the discount codes on it. I gotta get a faster laptop. This is ridiculous. Okay, where did I leave off? Okay, wait. Critical Overlord. That's where I left off. He says Scream 2 as usual for Tamon.
Oh, thank you.
Ultimate Sunrise says Leatherface, brutal. It
You know
was all
what?
right.
Yeah, there's a difference between a good movie, a good horror movie, and just a slasher. Texas Chainsaw is a great slasher, but as far as good movies, is no.
I think the first one was really good. The only ones I would rewatch is the first one and the last one that they just did with the younger people. Because when he got on the bus, we finally got an actual massacre. Because the first movie, it was like 2 people died, maybe 3 people died. That's not really a massacre, not by American standards.
I like the first one, but I also love the one. I think it's 2003 with Jessica Biel. The remake. That's my favorite one. I can watch that over and over. And the one with Jordana Brewster after that one was okay.
I don't love that one because she just kept tripping over nothing. I can't. There was a fence that was like 1 foot high, and she still tripped on it. She fell down the stairs. She was doing all the white lady in a horror movie tropes.
Yes, she was.
Bill Ding says Black Dynamite is fire. Tommy says The Past, The Howling, or Friday the 4th now. Anything ghostly or found footage. If it's ghostly, found footage, I'm in heaven. Yeah, with found footage, I like it. It depends on how much shaky cam it is. If it's steady, kind of like how Paranormal Activity had a lot of steady cam shots, I like that. But if it's like Cloverfield, that gives me a headache, and I just don't want to watch it.
After I saw Quarantine, I had to take an aspirin, and I love Quarantine. But yeah, it was a lot of moving going on. But Paranormal Activity is a good one.
Bill says The Howling, hell yeah. How about Nightbreed? I like Nightbreed, especially the director's cut. But what I really love, go ahead.
I haven't seen the director's cut.
Oh, okay. But you've seen the original Nightbreed.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could talk about it a little bit. I like the subtext of the movie being about how the people who are the real monsters don't look like what people think of as monsters. Like the most monstrous person in that movie was the psychologist or psychiatrist guy. Yeah, and that had that sequence where he was in the house. I think he pretty much did he murder the whole family or just a few members of the family? But that was the scariest part of the movie. When you go to Midian and you meet all the monsters, it's not scary, but that part with that psychiatrist stalking people in the house was really intense and scary. Well, at least it was to me when I first saw it as a teenager. I don't know whether I'd have that same reaction now, but he creeped me out.
No, I mean, maybe we're desensitized,
Yeah.
right, to those things now. Like, okay, sure, someone's
Mhm.
getting murdered in the house. We're used to seeing that, but yeah, at that age, for sure.
Mhm. Ultimate Sunrise says Malignant. I like that one. That one. I know it's bad. I really do, and I still enjoy it.
The highlight for me is when he kicked their ass in the
police station. Yes.
Everybody have it in the police station.
That's my favorite scene.
And then she thought she was leaving. He threw that chair all the way across the room.
Yes. Like if I were to rewatch it, I would just fast forward the whole first 40 minutes and just watch it from that point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, by the way, the people, if you like Malignant, you should check out Basket Case. You'll like that too. Hatchet, yes.
Oh yeah, Basket Case.
I have a fun story about Hatchet 2. I got to see Hatchet 2. I went to a screening and I got to sit next to Kane Hodder, and it was fun. Number one, nicest person you can meet. Big, muscle bound, tough looking guy, but so sweet. And then whenever there was about to be a kill, he would elbow me. Watch this. He'd be like, watch this. He was very proud of that. Horror Green Book says, yes, Scream Queen is an amazing documentary. Mark Patton is such a nice guy. Yeah, I've seen also that he is on the convention scene a lot. He goes to a lot of horror conventions.
We on Scream Kingz, we did a Final Girl, Scream King countdown, Scream Queen countdown, and we counted him.
Oh, good.
He deserves.
You should do a Scream King one too. I mean, it might be hard to find 10. Oh, you did? Okay, but there are some. Bill says, yeah. Bill says, #Mutant Fam. Oh, that's right. Joe, Mutant Fam is what we call ourselves that are, I don't want to say fans because we're not like fans. We're more of like a supportive community of Joe Bob Briggs. So what we usually do is when Joe Bob comes on, we'll go on Twitter and just live tweet as he's showing the movies on Shudder. And in between, like he'll take different breaks and tell you so much background information about the movies, and not just the movie, but also like things that were happening in that time period that related to the movies or had something to do with the movies. Like, for example, like he hasn't done Cruising yet. But for example, if he played Cruising, he would also stop and tell you about how there were protests during the filming of that movie because there was a fear that people would stereotype the leather community, because at that time there wasn't a lot of representation for queer people. So when that movie was coming out, they were afraid that, okay, if the first time they see queer people as a people in a movie, it's all just leather bar shit. We don't want people to think that's all we are. So that's why there was some protesting. But it's a mystery thriller with slasher elements. But I would definitely recommend watching it because, I mean, to me, as I was watching it, I was waiting to see whether there was going to be anything that was derogatory towards the queer community, but it wasn't. It just happened to be a murder mystery that involved queer people. That's what it was in 1980 or 81. Yeah. And it's very New York. Like, you get a good look at New York in 1980, like how everything looks. And I like movies like that, like Driller Killers in New York, Basket Cases in New York, Frankenhooker was shot in New York. That 80s time period of New York is pretty cool. Critical Overlord says Freddy is Team Cool Mo D because Part 5 ends with an LL Cool J diss. Does it? Okay, I have to look into that because I don't remember that. I'm going to look that up. Hold on, let me screen capture this so I can remember it. I have to look that up because I don't remember that. Okay, Tony Man says, in Nightmare on My Street, they actually use You've Got the Body and I've Got the Brains from Part 2. Ultimate Summer says, LOL, yeah, the last one went through production hell. My fave is 3.
Yeah. Oh, 03. 2003.
Oh, you're talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, probably. Ultimate Sunrise says, even though it's not really a slasher, I love Candyman is very much a slasher. Yes, he literally slashes people from groin to gullet.
It is a different type. It is a slasher. It's poetry in motion, and it has so many different undertones. And the kills are not what we're used to right now, but it is definitely a slasher because they get killed in that.
Yes, I would call him a supernatural slasher. He's
That's a big debate sometimes with me, like what defines a slasher? And then it's like you have the supernatural ones like Freddy and Chucky, and Candyman, and sometimes Jason. Sometimes Jason.
Oh yeah, Jason is definitely immortal now.
But I guess Michael Myers is human now.
No, he's supernatural. He can't. Evil doesn't die. He doesn't die.
It transfers. Remember.
Yeah, I think he's supernatural too. I think people like Prom Night, the killer. I won't spoil who the killer is in Prom Night. Was just a regular person. The Prowler, I think that was just a regular person. Pieces was just a regular person. There was always that big reveal. Those type of slasher movies were also mystery because no one knew who the person was, and then at the end there's a big reveal. And I think Scream kind of borrows from those 80s movies in that way, where there's that reveal at the end of who's the killer.
Yeah, those movies birthed Scream. It's a love note to Halloween and all those 80s slashers. So yeah, for sure. What did you feel about Pearl and X?
I like them, but I feel like there's still something missing. Like I liked Pearl better than X, but I feel like something was missing in X. Like part of it, I think, is maybe too much on the front end. I think Ty West makes his movies a little bit longer, too much longer than what it needs to be. Like it worked with House of the Devil. House of the Devil was like a slow build to this big finale, but that's a supernatural movie. When you switch over to slasher, you got to get it popping a little bit faster. You can't do this super slow build because it's a slasher movie. People come to see something. And I think on the front end of X was too much time with those characters. Like I don't need to see them go to the store. I don't need to see all this. Just, truncate that a little bit. Tighten that up.
I think X is a great one for like a summer fun horror slasher because it reminds me of Texas Chainsaw, all those summer fun movies. They stop at the gas station. They probably have some rude interaction with someone, and then they all get killed, and maybe one person lives.
But so and you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all that happens within the first 15 minutes of the movie.
It does.
Stopping at the gas station, then picking up the thing with Ty West is pacing. He's got the right elements, but he drags them out a little bit too long. But it definitely was a love letter to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and another movie called Eaten Alive. That alligator part, that was an homage to Eaten Alive.
I'm excited for the third one, Maxine, to see how the whole picture is coming together.
And the 80s. I just love stuff set in the 80s. Today, I have my summer wardrobe this year is inspired by Miami Vice. So I got to stand up just so you can see the belt and the pants. That's the belt.
Oh,
the pants
absolutely.
Are probably, yes.
The jacket, the pants, the belt, the headband.
Yes, I said I have to be in like pastels, ice cream colors. I think it's too I told somebody that it's to lift my spirits from living in Florida, knowing that we have, who we have running the show right now. So even though it's not okay, I read that one. So it says favorite B horror movie.
House of Wax.
You think it's a B horror movie?
Yeah.
I guess so. Maybe because I think it's a good movie. I'm like, that's a good movie.
It is a good one. A good favorite B horror movie. Slasher, right?
Oh, I don't think it has to be slasher. It could be, but if it's not, I think that's fine.
Sleepaway Camp. Just for the ending alone.
I had my Sleepaway Camp shirt on yesterday. As a matter of fact, I have it. I still have it. put it to the side because my t-shirts, I always turn them inside out, wash them, and hang them to dry because I like to get cotton. If you get 100% cotton, words to wise, you want to hang them to dry because they won't hold the color. But if there's a little bit of like lycra or synthetic, then you can put them in the dryer and they'll hold their color longer than 100% cotton. But I found this online, and it's a sleepaway camp t-shirt. It's like a Japanese one with the but if you're wearing this, unless the person has seen sleepaway camp, they'll never know what this shirt is.
What do we categorize? What is that? Wrong turn.
I think that is, I don't know, because I put it in the same category as like the Hills. What is it? The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, it definitely.
All those type of movies, because they kind of are slasher movies, but they kind of aren't. They're more, I guess, danger in the woods because they both involve like getting lost in the woods and being found by some people that aren't right. And I think in both movies, the people are inbred.
I don't remember what they are in the original Wrong Turn. Yeah, they have to be. There's no other way to explain it, unless they're mutants, which I don't think is that.
I don't know. I have to look that up. What do those movies? What is their subcategory, subgenre? And I didn't answer my favorite B movie. There's so many I like. I know. Like I mentioned Basket Case. I really love that one. What's another B movie I love? I guess this would be considered a B movie. That's The Howling 3, The Marsupials. I don't think a lot of people like that one. I think it's just me.
Yeah, the first one's where I sort of got stuck. So, Cry Wolf.
I haven't seen Cry Wolf.
Oh, it's like this Australian man. He's killing these people. I think I'm like a road trip or something. But Cry Wolf is really good.
Cry Wolf.
Yeah. And what about You're Next?
You're Next. It's okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It's just okay. I probably wouldn't rewatch it. I like the concept of it, but it's not my thing. I think I like something more. Well, I love gore. I love seeing people get chopped up.
Put her head in the blender.
Yeah, that was okay.
That was about it, though.
Dan says, I love how batshit crazy Malignant got.
It did get that, yeah.
My only regret is not going to see it in the theater. I would love to see the audience reaction to when that police station scene happened. Because I waited for it to come to HBO Max and I watched it. Tony says, Sleepaway Camp Killer was a real person and not a supernatural. Yes.
Correct.
I loved X. Very sexy scene towards the end with the girl under the bed. That's sarcasm.
It had to be sarcasm.
Yeah. Ultimate Sunrise says Demon Knight. Yes. That also bothered me about, okay, this is the only spoiler I'm giving for The Blackening. When they said name a black person that survived a horror movie, and this boy gonna say Jada Pinkett in Scream 2. And I'm like, you could have said Jada Pinkett in Demon Knight. Like, what?
I was like, when they said that, I looked at my friend, I was like, come on. And then we sort of left the movie in our head and started asking each other the question, like, name a black person. So I was like, come on. It's so many, but so few.
Shopping Mall.
Classic.
Yes. It's also the other alternate title for Chopping Mall is Killbots. Ultimate Sunrise says, ever see Late Phase? Werewolf movie best seen in years? Yes, I have seen It's Late Phases. Yeah, I misspoke. It's about a blind military veteran that moves into this retirement community, and there's a werewolf on the loose. And so he decides he's going to catch the werewolf, even though he can't see. And it's really, really fascinating to see how he works. I guess it would be like, there was a movie, Don't Breathe, where the people broke into the man's house and he was a blind veteran and he fought them off. It's like Don't Breathe, but instead of teens breaking into your house, it's a werewolf. I think it has a lot in common with what's that movie? There was a werewolf movie with Corey Haim, and he was in a wheelchair. Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet.
It's It was written by Stephen King. I think it comes from a Stephen King short story, but it's very 80s. It came out maybe 87, 88ish, somewhere in that time period. Might be as early as 86. I just know it's from the 80s and has Corey Haim's little boy in a wheelchair and he has to fight a werewolf.
Did he win?
Yes, he won. Wolf Creek, Cry Wolf was Bon Jovi. Oh, yeah. The movie you're saying is Cry Wolf. Mr. Dan says it's called Wolf Creek.
Yeah, that's the Australian guy.
Yeah. I've seen that one. Because the one he was like, this is why I call a head on a stick. When he had shot, he had like cut the girl's her spinal cord. Hey, Internet Eric here says, don't forget Event Horizon. Black guy lived. Yes, he did.
That was actually scary when it came out. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, Event Horizon was great.
I turned it off the first time I tried to watch it because I was in my room and I saw, this movie Event Horizon's coming on. It was on HBO. So I started watching it. I got so creeped. That's one of 2 movies that I've turned off because it was too scary for me and I had to watch it during the daytime.
I remember I saw it in the theaters and I remember when Sam Neill was in the little computer area and it was like green and flashing on. And I remember I screamed so loud when he saw his wife's face in there. That was terrifying. Yeah, that was a good one. I love that movie. Good job, Eric.
Yes. Tony says, is Silver Bullet a B movie?
I'm pretty sure
it could be considered B movie. Yeah, I don't think it's considered,
or a C.
Had a great transformation scene. Yeah, it was okay. Not as great as like American Werewolf in London, but it had a good werewolf transformation scene. Stephen Lang was great in Don't Breathe. He was also great in VFW. Yes, VFW is a really good movie. It's about these old men that also are war veterans, but they're at the VFW hall, which is like a little bar that's for veterans. And I think a girl runs in and she's got something in her backpack that this like crime group wants out of her backpack. And so the whole rest of the movie is about that crime group trying to get into the bar and then fortifying the bar and trying to keep the crime group out of the bar. But the way it's done is kind of like a zombie movie. Like they're fighting them as if they were zombies, except for like they kind of are zombies, not the undead zombies, but they're like crack zombies because they're on some kind of weird drug.
Okay.
I hope I described that accurately in VFW. Old men in a bar fight crack zombies.
Who wouldn't want to watch it?
Eric says, yep, Stephen King wrote Silver Bullet. It was a novel called Cycle of the Werewolf. Great short novel with awesome illustrations. Oh, I have to find it. I know it was illustrated. I would like to see that. And Dan says, I had Cycle of the Werewolf, Eric, but it got water damaged. Oh. Ultimate Sunrise mentioned Serbian film and with laughing emojis. Are you saying Serbian film was a B movie? I mean, it is pretty bad. Like, it didn't achieve what it was going for. It was trying to be ultra, what's the word I'm looking for? It was trying to be extreme, but I felt like it was so ridiculously extreme that you can't take it seriously. So then it being extreme didn't work. Tony says, what's your opinion of Spree, Deadstream, or the rapping chick that was MAGA? I don't know about the rapping chick that was MAGA, but Spree was a movie that was on, I want to say it was on Shudder, released on Shudder. And it's about this guy who he wants to do anything to become or to go viral online. So he's a streamer, but what's funny is when they show him at the beginning, he's doing all the typical things that you try to do as a streamer. He tries to stream video games and he tries to do mukbangs. And then I forgot what else he tried to do, maybe travel vlogs, and nothing is working. So then he starts driving Uber, but it's not called Uber. It's, a fake Uber type of thing. And he starts streaming him driving Uber. And then, I don't know, for some reason, he ends up killing someone and his view count skyrockets. So he keeps driving Uber and killing people.
I mean, the price of fame is high, I guess.
The other one, Deadstream, is similar movie, also on Shudder. It's about a streamer who decides to go to a haunted house and live stream there all night. And what it ends up being like is Evil Dead, but through a live stream. This is basically what it is. It's Evil Dead through a live stream. The things that he experiences, it's very Evil Dead-ish.
It sounds like Halloween Resurrection.
Oh yeah, motherfucker. Sorry. Wait, did Busta Rhymes survive in that? No, he did. He did? Okay, because I know LL Cool J survives in H2O, but LL Cool J survives in everything. He survived in Deep Blue Sea.
It's in his contract.
And I think Ice Cube survived in Anaconda, so I can make a list of black survivors of horror movies.
Don't forget Brandy. Maybe you have to be a rap artist or a singer to survive.
Yeah.
Raw Digger.
Yes, in 13 Ghosts.
Absolutely. It's a thing. Rap artists survive.
Eric says, you describe VFW pretty well. The crack zombies are basically like the infected people in 28 Days Later. Close enough. Yeah. Yeah, it was. They're very zombie-like. Lots of action. Ultimate Samurai says, it was a political statement, the director said. Are you speaking about VFW? Tony says, you shut it off, Lady Shasha, because you said her rapping was horrible. Oh, I know what you're talking about. There was a found footage movie. What was it called? It was just this past year, like in either 2021 or 2022. It was really bad. And yes, this girl it was this white girl who was MAGA, and she went over to England to visit some friends, and she stole the friend's car and picked up some old lady, but the old lady was either a demon or a zombie or something else. But the movie, she kept on stopping to rap, and her rapping was the worst rapping I've ever heard in my life. I'm going to type in found footage with MAGA girl rapping and see what Google tells me. Dashcam came right up. Google. I literally put found footage with MAGA girl rapping. It says Dashcam.
I feel like I've seen that. Or was that the movie with Mary J. Blige?
Yeah, there's two movies named Dashcam. One is with Mary J. Blige, and then there's this one with this horrible rapping girl. I will see if I can play the trailer, but we've been on for an hour. I'm about to wrap it up pretty soon. So, creature features, yes, definitely The Thing. That's the all-time favorite for creature features. Castle Freak. Well, he's kind of not a creature. He's kind of human, but kind of not human. I don't know whether he counts. Castle Freak may or may not count. I don't know.
The Fly.
Yes. The 1986 one?
Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's back when Jeff Goldblum used to be well, he was trending not too long ago on Twitter with younger women saying they was still let.
Listen, he's aging well. Like in Jurassic Park, that's a creature feature too, I guess.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, he looks good in the first one and the very last one. So
if you really want to see him looking sexy, there's a movie he made called Mr. Frost, where he plays this patient in a mental institution who claims to be the devil. But it's not like The Exorcist. It's very like, how do I describe it? It's like a psychosexual thriller. That's the way I would describe it. At least it was sexy to me when I saw it in my 20s. I don't know whether I feel the same way now. You gotta realize, sometimes you see something in your 20s, you're like, yeah, but then you see it older and you're like, why did I ever think that?
Tremors.
Yes. Tremors is a good one. Poltergeist, amazing B flick. Yes, it's Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. That's a Lloyd Kaufman movie. Lloyd Kaufman is responsible for like The Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High, those type of films. Yeah, and he did Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. Ultimate Server says Rogue. I don't know Rogue. It does sound familiar. Is that another one with the alligator? For some reason, I'm picturing an alligator, so maybe that's the movie I'm thinking of. Tony says, has the guest seen the fat comedian running through the house killing teenagers? We just talked about that. That's Monique. We just talked about that movie. Your
Yeah,
description:
before you
the
know.
fat comedian running through the house killing teenagers.
Wow. Her name is Monique.
Yeah, how do you not know Monique? Well, I can tell you you haven't seen like her stand up. Although I don't remember much about her stand up except for her calling people skinny bitches. I just remember her calling people skinny bitches.
What was it? The Queens of
Yeah,
Comedy
the
she was
Queens of
giving?
Comedy. And Precious, of course, but I will never watch Precious again. I cried
I
for
haven't-
40
I've never,
minutes straight.
I've never finished it.
Yeah, it's just that's a hard watch.
It's a horror movie.
Mr. Dan says Mr. Frost has a unique vibe for sure. Yeah. There's also another movie that's similar to Mr. Frost, but it's almost the same story. Because in Mr. Frost, Jeff Goldblum is a psychiatric patient who says he's the devil. And there's another movie called Crazy as Hell. Same thing. Mental patient says he's the devil, but it stars Eric LaSalle. Who Eric LaSalle was also in Dream Warriors. Remember the Black Orderly? In the mental hospital with the teenagers, there's a black orderly.
I just remember Lawrence Fishburne. I'm trying to think.
Wait, I thought that was that Lawrence Fishburne? You're right. You're right. Why did I confuse him with Eric LaSalle? Why did I think that was him? My
racial
bad.
profile.
Yeah, they both long. They both got the same long head. To be fair, that's the first time I've actually done that with a black person. I usually do that with white people. Like I said, with the first Terrifier, I could not tell those three women apart. I didn't know there were Terrifier.
Oh, I mean, sure, yeah, I'll take that. They're all, yeah, okay.
And then you have, I think I'm not the only one. I think a lot of people see that Margot Robbie is like a clone of what's her name?
Yeah, it's three girls that look alike. Margot
Robbie.
Robbie.
It's Jamie Presley, Margot Robbie. There's four, I think.
Yes.
I bet you I can find an image of the clones.
It's
somebody has got to.
It's Margot Robbie, and then one of them is, I think this is Jamie Presley, and then Samara Weaving.
Yeah, Samara Weaving. That's the one I was thinking of. Oh, there's 8? There's 8 of them. Hold on.
This is crazy. They all do look alike. Yep, Samara Weaving.
Just trying to find a picture that I can post up here with all of them. All right, just give me 1 second.
Yeah, she does.
Hang on, guys. Bear with me. Sorry about that. I gotta wait for everything to load on here. Here we go. There they are. There's like 6 of them apparently.
Yes.
I know this one down in the bottom. Let me put my cursor so everybody can see it. Down in the bottom left, that's Jamie Presley. I know that. The one with the pink. No, I'm pretty sure the bottom left is Jamie Presley. I think Samara Weaving is the one on the bottom. No, I'm sorry. You're right. Bottom left. I'm talking about bottom right. Sorry, bottom right is Jamie Presley. Bottom left is Samara Weaving, and I think bottom center is Margot Robbie. Now the three at the top, I don't know who they are, but they also look similar.
Is that Tara Reid in the top right?
I'm not sure. Does it say the name? Shoot! Stop doing that. Yeah, it doesn't have the names. It just says "Good luck finding another girl like me," and then it's her. it's just a meme somebody made. All right, let me go back to regular screen. Okay, I'm going to read some more of the chat and then we'll get out of here because I want to hold you guys up too much. I just wanted to do a Friday show to touch base with everyone because I have been very busy, but in a good way. So I haven't been making a lot of pre-recorded content, but I will get back to it. I'm going to have another Friday chill stream next Friday, and I believe Fro Thiz will be on with me then. Let's see where I left off in the chat. Ultimate Sunrise says, yes, that's it. Margot Robbie is a clone of the woman from Ready or Not. Yeah, the woman, that's Samara Weaving that's in Ready or Not. Who's Hugo Weaving's niece. Hugo Weaving was in The Matrix. The guy with the sunglasses saying Mr. Anderson. Yeah, Samara Weaving. Samara Weaving has the perfect scream for horror movies. Mm-hmm.
Perfection.
Gotta head out. Great show, guys and ghouls. Thank you for passing through. And enjoyed you here. You've also says you gotta Google young Helen Mirren. She is identical to Jennifer Lawrence. Wow.
Ooh.
So then we'll know what Jennifer Lawrence will look like in the future. So I mean, it says time to be distracted while I ride to my spot. Keep this up. Well, that's why I do these at 4:00 because I feel like it's a good way to end the workday. Like if you need 1 hour of something to listen to. I know when I used to work in the office, I used to listen to Wendy Williams at 4:00. So you help me get through that last hour. I really enjoy your chill streams. I always try to catch when I can. I appreciate that. Sometimes I beat myself up because my streams aren't as polished as everyone else's streams. They're just kind of free form. But I'm not good at multitasking. If I was good at like moving things around, at the same time, but I'm not. Oh, in related news, I did have another appointment for my ADHD today, which was really cool. I participated in this program where they have these video games that are supposed to help you with your concentration and your memory. And so they give you like an iPad, have you play these games every day for like 8 weeks, I think it was. And then you come back and you do a test to see if it improved. And it actually did help me. So that's good news for people, especially young people coming through, that there might be non-medicinal ways to treat your ADHD, like through gaming. So I think that's pretty cool. And Eric says, freeform is so much more enjoyable. It's more natural. Keep it up. Thank you. There's one more piece of business I want to do before we go, though, because as I told you guys, here's where I'm not good at. There we go. Multitasking. I told you that Tamon is also on Scream Kingz, and I want you to follow him on social. That way you'll be able to keep up with what they're doing. Do you want to tell us what you got coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. So Scream Kingz is the view, but it's about horror movies. So we have different horror content creators, the Kingz, and we come together. We have different topics about horror. Last season, we talked about Final Girls, Final Boys, Blacks and Horrors. We had a really fun episode called Fuck Them Kids, where we're talking about horror kids and how they get on our nerves and all of that kind of stuff. We had a holiday episode. And of course, we covered Scream and some of the other major franchises. This season, we are in production currently, filming for season 2, and we have some really cool topics that are getting ready to come out. We start that, and that comes out. Season 2 begins in October, actually. Nice. But we do some live shows coming up a little bit before then. And so that's Scream Kingz. It's really exciting. We have some really fun times, some cool guests that are going to be on this season. So make sure you follow us on social media, Scream Kingz podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So you can find us all on those platforms. And you can find me there too at Tamon Kane, TamonKane on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok as well. And check out TK Publishing. That's also on Instagram and Facebook. And my graphic novel is coming out this October. So you can find that at jointhefraternity.com. There.
Okay, perfect. Oh, and also he is on well, I think it's the finale for From this Sunday.
The finale from is this Sunday, and so we're together on that on a panel show with the evil Tyrone. It's the finale, so come and hang out with us. Fix a cocktail and come sit with us. We're gonna have a good time.
Yes, I will also be there this Wednesday because I gotta chat about the finale. And with that, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you all for coming through. I really, really appreciate it. I'll see you next Friday. Have a good weekend. Everybody travel safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, 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 hey. Don't let go. Not too slow. Turn that down and turn it down.